Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Beatles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
Maven.
Hey y'all.
Sanswinda.
Hello.
And everyone, please welcome Sanswinda, who is our newest host here at LOTRO Players News.
Yay!
Whee!
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And now it's time for game news, and the only game news I can think of is that we had some downtime last Wednesday in order to implement a hotfix.
Yeah, and I don't remember what they fixed.
It was just little tweaks here and there. I know one of them involved Guardians, which I don't think are completely fixed yet, but apparently one of their recent updates, they had made a change to Guardians without realizing that it conflicted with some of the Guardian abilities, that if a Guardian went down deep on two different trees, it would cause there was a conflict that they only just learned about while investigating certain recent issues. So they're investigating that for the next update. But I can't remember what the worst. I guess the rest of them were just minor tweaks in there. The reason why they had it was because there was a scheduled maintenance at the time. They decided they might as well implement this hotfix when the servers were down anyway.
Yeah.
So therefore, let's head into store sales. And what's on sale this week, I presume, is something that a Hobbit gave you.
It's nothing good. Actually, this week's free sample is pretty good. It's a Simple Rally Horn ×1. Use coupon code TOGETHER, 1 time per account. And then 20% off some stuff that you can get out of Hobbit presents. Stat tomes, regeneration food, run speed boosts, 5% attack, and plus 5% attack damage. Blah.
Yeah, nothing really.
Once again, instead of spending your LOTRO points on that, buy me ponies.
And then let's head into the site news, and we'll begin with the community events calendar for February 17th through 23rd. Is there anything here that anyone particularly found interesting? Other than it looks like a lot of Valentine stuff that's being run over the weekend?
Well, and the problem is that by the time the podcast comes out, the weekend's over.
Yeah.
And most of the good stuff's already happened.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing with the community calendar is that, yes, you're right. Most of the good stuff, of course, happens during the weekend because that's when most people are off. But of course, you want to put up the calendar just before the weekend. Why? Because you want to make sure you're up to date for the weekend.
All of the stuff that's going on in the weekend.
Right. So with that, let's head into the Family Line Part 122. Cruelty of Fornost.
I got nothing.
Wasn't there something about Fornost in last week's update of Family Line? Or am I misremembering?
I thought it had something with the new.
Well, I think that the protagonist is looking for help retaking Annuminus and happens to be in Fornost.
Ah, okay. Very well.
But if you really want to know what's going on, read the Family Line.
Right. And then the Antipodean writer gives us more lost stanzas. This time we have the lost stanzas to West of the Moon, East of the Sun. And these are some additional verses to the traveling song sung by Frodo shortly before his departure to the west. And what he had there originally, though, was, "Till round the corner there may wait a new road or a secret gate. And though I oft have passed them by, a day will come at last when I shall take the hidden paths that run west of the moon, of the sun. Of course, he adds some more stanzas to this. The secret lakes and hidden dells, past towers where wizards chant their spells, through dark caves delve to deep underground, where gems and mithril may be found, go hidden paths that onward run west of the moon. To mountain peaks that touch the sky, home an eagle's eye reside, would walk upon the wings of air to tread the wind's cloudy stair. What airy paths that run west of the moon. Down covered deeps beneath the sea, as old as tales declare to be, past grottos where leviathans lay, unseen by sunlit or the day, via liquid paths which also run west of the moon. By farthest star in sable dark, whose fires burn with eternal spark, on celestial roads that far return, place unknown where comets burn, pass through the void that also run west of. The seas are vast, the oceans, and many wonders do they hide in secret isles, forgotten land, pure to men nor. Through those oceans paths still run, west of the moon. 'Tis time to go, time to depart. Take courage, mortal beating heart. The way is long, hard is the toil, leaving behind fair Midgar's soil, traveling over bidden paths that run west of the moon. The sun.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
some of that must have cut out. Sorry, Pine Leaf.
Oh, what happened?
I thought it was just me.
I thought it was...
The only line that was missing was East of the Sun, I think. Or East of the Sun.
Oh, what? You mean the final?
Yeah, part of that. I heard I think I heard all of it, though.
All right, and actually, I think this is the best one of the series I've heard so far.
I really love his stuff.
Any other comments on this before we go on? Then we've got Critters, number 52. Pies are for taking for long. Oh, pies are taking for... Critters titles sometimes. Pies are taking for long, yes.
Which, of course, is the obligatory joke to forlong the fat.
You must always have a... Yes, of course. Humor at his expense, of course, is quite common. And of course, you find that there. And that's it for the site news. So therefore, we have a new player question, and I believe we have a new person asking it this week.
Yeah. Alright, so are there any things that could help you hit higher level mobs? Especially red mobs that like to deflect everything. I mean, I know a lot of stuff drops from Hobbit Presence, and there are crafted things like bow chants that say that they help do things, but do they actually work, and what things work? Or do they not work against higher?
Well, in theory, the stat that determines how well you can hit something is your finesse. So anything that's going to up your character's finesse will help you hit things more. The other thing, too, is tactical damage is more likely to hit than physical damage, because tactical damage cannot be parried, blocked, or evaded. It can only be resisted.
Yes, but what about deflection? Isn't that on a separate
Nope, it's
mechanism?
the same thing. Yeah, it can't be deflected either.
The other thing that is probably a little bit more minor would be to make sure you have the right damage on your weapons, right kind of damage. You know, that may make a difference depending on the mob.
Different types of damage may bypass an enemy's mitigations a little bit better.
Yes, but I think deflection happens before it gets to mitigation.
Yeah, so really it's just your finesse is what's going to increase that.
So those finesse things that sometimes drop in Hobbit presents could possibly be useful?
Yes.
Does that help if you happen to be mounted on a war steed as well? Do you happen to know?
It depends on where the bonus comes from. If the bonus is applied, it should be applied to the stat before you get to war steed trees, so yes, it should still apply to war steed. But again, it's, like I said, it's going to be based on your character's finesse, because your character's finesse is basically the measure of how well you can hit stuff. And unfortunately, the stat is based on how well you can hit stuff on level. So the better you can hit stuff on level, the more likely you are to be able to hit stuff that's over your level.
That makes sense.
All right, then let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Maven, what have you been up to?
Well, I imbued my Maven's LIs. I spelled that wrong, but anyway, I imbued Maven the LM's LIs, and I'm now grinding Winterfest and Minister's dailies to load up on crystals and scrolls, since you need a whole lot of them to top out the weapons. I also then wrapped Maven the Lore Master up and gave her to Sanswinda for her birthday as a gift, and more on that later. You'll hear more about that from other members of that experience. And I did bingo questing with Corey and the Mythgard Adventures, and Corey and Bingo are now the farthest from the Shire than they've ever been. So we got to cliving, and it was the first time Corey had been there. So you can imagine if anybody's been, those of you that have been to cliving, it's walking up lots of steps and going up a lot of terraces. And we had to go to the mead hall to talk to Bingo. And I think it probably took him as long to get from the bottom of the steps to Bingo as it did the whole rest of the adventure up to that point. Because he was just like, he'd never been there before, and it was really exciting.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That was really fun. So, Sanswinda, how about you?
Well, my Arkenstone Minstrel wrapped up Book 6 of the Moria Epic and is ready to head to Mirkwood. And I'm kind of excited about that because I haven't spent a lot of time in Mirkwood on level. And it also means that she's closer to Wildermore, though still a long ways away.
A little while. And
then for my birthday, I got to have a picnic on the prow of Minas Tirith, and then later, accompanied by Alts of Maven and Terry, we war-steeded off the prow, and yeah, we rode our war steeds full tilt off the prow.
That's the best way to go over.
And I survived. Like, we landed, and I was still on my war steed, moving around, and kind of in a corner, and I got out of the corner, and looked over, and there were Maven and Terry defeated there on the ground, and I was riding towards them, towards the open gate, and got kicked out of the game. And I was thinking...
So she was like full steam, pretty fast. I don't know if you were at full steam, but you were going
I don't know how fast I was going, but I was on my war steed, and it was picking up speed. And I was kind of afraid I was going to log back in, like, riding through orc camps across the Pelennor or something. But I logged back in and at the corner, and it looked like I had been given a timeout. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, It was really funny because she said, "Oh, I just got kicked out of the game, and so I had revived." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Well, I saw her ride by. She rode by where Terry was, and I couldn't tell though where she'd gone on her horse, but her horse was making pretty good speed. So I went running over there, and she hadn't disappeared from the game yet. So her horse was literally like running in place into the corner between the gate and the wall in Minas Tirith. If she had just been like a couple of feet to the right, she would have been like barreling out onto the Pelennor while she was out of the game. So anyway, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was a good way to end a fun night of questing. And then I made a human hunter that I've been leveling to get to Wildermore on Arkenstone. And she's been fighting higher level mobs the whole time because I was trying to level faster, and I wanted to get as far as I possibly could ahead. And so she was fighting mostly orange mobs, but all of a sudden this warband that was high enough level that they were all red ran right over the top of her. And it's like, I'm gonna die any minute now. Oh wait, I have Desperate Flight. So I used Desperate Flight. And the warband promptly ran over me in the res circle. And I died.
Experience too.
In the red circle. And I was like, wait, should I revive or
Isn't it
retreat?
weird? Isn't it weird? Like
They're both
like
bad
you
options.
res and you think, oh, I res, I'm okay, and all of a sudden these guys are just coming at you.
Right. Like 4 or 5 warg riders and then the main warband guy all run right over the top of me.
How rude.
It was not very nice of them. And I was really missing my Hobbit flop because humans don't seem to have that skill.
Go figure.
Yeah, go figure. So, yeah, I learned another lesson about being careful about ways to get away from warbands if they should happen to suddenly pop up on top of you. And maybe just dying would have been better than trying to run away, I don't know. But, Terry, how was your week?
Well, aside from dressing up and running around in a present, my challenge mini is nearing the end of the Volume 3 epic story, and I am very, 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 very glad that Andang let me run the epic battles with him. So they're done. I don't have to do those. I can just go boom, boom, boom through the quests, which is fantastic. And then led the girls of Middle-earth through the Hoth Valendale featured instance Sunday with some minor challenges because we had more than 6 people, so I was trying to figure out who we were going to take because most of the group that showed up was hunters, except we had a OP furball and we had me who was a champion,
That's right.
and we had a lore master, and then we had like 5 or 6 hunters. And I'm like, okay, I can only take 6 people into this instance, so I need I'll take the lore master, and there's this runekeeper over here, and then I'll just fill the group up with hunters. So I had 3 hunters and a lore master and a champion. And a runekeeper. And we get in and we go around the first corner, and the runekeeper, the power goes out. So the runekeeper just kind of stops moving. And we're like, what's going on? And then we get a Twitter message, because fortunately there's things like cell phones and other technology that you don't need internet for. Power's out. Well, now what are we going to do? So I filled that spot with another hunter. So now we had 4 hunters and my champion and a lore master. And I said, okay, the lore master's just going to have to do some healing because nobody else can do it. And we got through it, and yeah, it was. And then we filled up with everybody else after we were done and hunted down some more roving threats. But yeah, that Girls of Middle-earth group is frequently like herding cats anyway. And then my Arkenstone hunter, Alistriel, said farewell to Evendim. She's actually not done questing in Evendim, but I felt it was time to move on because she's been there for a while. So she started questing in the Trollshaws because she was level 36, which is just level enough to quest the Trollshaws. and finished most of that first camp and the Lonely Bridge. I did not do the Fellowship quest where you go up and kill a bunch of trolls. But I'm realizing that the troll shots is a lot easier now on a squishy, especially if you have light damage, because you can kill trolls really, really easily with light damage because they're kind of vulnerable to it. So, of course, I was fortunate enough to run into a captain who was 10 levels higher and just running through and aggroing stuff with a shout, and was nice enough to hang around to make sure that I got a tag before just killing things outright. So I basically had somebody else kill trolls.
Oh, that's nice. That's the right way to play. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what to do when you see another player in the area. If you can tell that they're killing the same thing, you at least let them get a tag in before you just one-shot them down. So, Pineleaf, how was your week?
All right, we will begin with the field trip. This is Arkenstone, where killed numerous Globsnaga, and this was on the course for completing Book 6 of Epic in there, as Sanswinda was earlier talking about. And then after that, we were finished with the group stuff today, so I decided that to do my class quest. So therefore I went to Osgroup, because while we're doing the Globsnaga, we also killed a few of those nameless things. No wonder I forgot their name. Yes. Yeah, we killed some of those nameless things. Then I went to Osgroup, did that thing. Then came back to do the Dark Warden, which is always a real pain. Fortunately, Sanswinda came in, backed me up on it so we could get through it a little bit faster. Everything was respawning at the rate I was able to kill it. By the time I killed it, it got all those nameless that were in the area all dead. Then the last one comes up, and then first one I killed pops up again. But add Minstrel, and we ripped it apart. Then on my Minstrel, I ran the Roaming Star quests, the Gilrain. This is, I think, maybe the second, at most the third time that I actually did the side quest. I was doing the Epic there also at the same time, but usually I just do the Epic and then leave, but this time I did all those quests for her. And when I was finished with all that, I hit level 105. So I'm at cap with that Minstrel now. And then my champion that I'm doing the YouTube series with, we reached the Misty Mountains. I reached 40 during the episode I'm going to be posting to. Afterwards, I did some cooking in order to give myself so I have my little 40 food, and during that time, hit 41. All right, fine. So now I'm in the Misties, but I've not yet been able to catch a single one of those pages. I haven't killed enough humanoids but usually when I start doing pages in the Misties, the first mob I kill that can drop a page usually drops one, but apparently they're reluctant. Our top supporter on Patreon is Onishi, who is an officer of the Sons of Numenor on Vol. We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon. If you would like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on a podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. This week we did not receive any emails, but you could send us one by sending it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance, Players Ally, LOTRO Players @LOTRO Players, Forte @Forte_Maestro, Carvet @CarvetLP, Maven @Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Sanswinda @Sanswinda, and Terry Adwin @Terry Adwin. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows every Thursday at 9 p.m.-ish U.S. Eastern Time via XP Quest, every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time via LOTRO Players News, on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time via LOTRO Academy After School. DDO Players News is normally broadcast at Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, but is currently on hiatus due to family matters with Draculetta. And that is all for tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is Pilot Mules reminding you to skirmish responsibly.
Hey do, Mary do! Until next time.